In this episode, we address the west side of the property, which involves trees, lots of them. Hi, I'm Dave Atkinson and welcome to Life on the Strait. This 33rd installment in the Epic Remodel jumps around a bit, but it wraps up all of the major landscaping projects that we tackled. During January of 2023, we took care of another project. On the west side of the house was a large stand of fir trees. They began where the Leyland Cypress hedge ended and then headed towards the water. After the fir trees were a few more cypress trees which had been cut down a bit to allow for better views, and from there it was a dozen pampas grass plants all the way out to the bluff. We hired Pacific Northwest Tree Service to take down the trees. We wanted the trees removed because they were a hazard to the house during strong gusts of wind, which happens every now and then living on the bluff. Some of the trees already had large limbs broken off by the wind, and a few root balls were coming up out of the ground. All in all, the project would remove 31 fir trees, 3 deciduous bushes, 14 small and twisted cypress plants along the fence, and 3 cypress trees. Here are some photos. Now that the trees were gone, our views to the west completely opened up. We could now see much more of the Olympics along with Ediz Hook down in Port Angeles and of course much more of the Strait. After a little bit of winter weather passed, our next task was to have the stumps ground out and then plant some new Leyland Cypress trees beginning where the old hedge left off. Once they grow, the trees will give us more of a privacy buffer between us and our neighbor's house. However, we didn't want the new trees to block out our view from the sunroom, so the cypress trees transitioned to Spartan juniper trees, which don't grow very tall and can be easily pruned to keep our views intact. The rest of the area was covered in topsoil and seeded with grass seed. Unfortunately, the topsoil was full of weed seeds, and the type of grass that the contractor used was inferior. In the end, we ended up pulling up all of the grass and weeds that they had seeded and reseeded it ourselves using premium grass seed. Here are some photos. We took care of 2 more garden projects. In October, we transplanted and/or removed all of the bushes that snugged up to the south end of our garden deer fence. We brought in some topsoil and then seeded the area with grass. Now it would be just a little bit more lawn to mow rather than all of the watering and weeding that it once required. In March of 2024, we removed the 2 kiwi berry bushes inside the garden along with the trellis that supported them. This took a week to extricate the plant vines from the trellis and then remove and dispose of the trellis, and we needed to take it to the main dump west of Port Angeles to do so. And finally, to dig up the roots that spread out in all directions for several yards. You'd think that we would be all out of projects by now, but we had one last item, and that was the removal of the pampas grass plants in the backyard. They are messy, high-maintenance plants which are also difficult to mow around, and we just wanted them out and replaced with topsoil and grass. In June of 2024, we had Pacific Northwest Tree Service return to remove the plants, and then we hired a local contractor to deliver the topsoil, which Amy and I raked out and Amy later seeded. Next time, this Epic Remodel series concludes with work done to our big pole building, along with the gazebo and sunroom roof. Thank you for watching Life on the Strait. And if you'd like to follow this story as it unfolds, please consider subscribing, which is free.